Sawadee-kap tukon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the public forum number 2, the Future Ready Roads for Electric Vehicles. My name is Alex Guberman. I am the creator and host of an E4 Electric YouTube channel dedicated to electric cars for pretty much 8 years now. I bought my very first electric vehicle 12 years ago, which makes it 2012. Now, with a show of hands, how many of you are visiting Thailand right now? Okay, all right, quite a few of you. Welcome to Thailand. I actually live here full time, and I have to say it's been such a joy to see the electric car revolution come here about a year ago, and with every day I see more and more and more electric cars on the road here in Bangkok, something that I've observed 12 years ago back in the United States. So it's been quite a treat, and obviously we have a lot of manufacturers here that we don't have back in the United States. So it's been really, really amazing. Now, let me remind you that this presentation is a part of the Future-Proofing Roads for Asia and Beyond, brought to you by the Electric Vehicle Association of Thailand, or EVAT, the Mobility and Vehicle Technology Research Center, or MOVE, the King Mongkut University of Technology Thonburi, or KMUTT, the Roads Association of Thailand, and the Department of Highways of Thailand. Now, we have an excellent panel assembled today, and I will actually let them introduce themselves, because I know they're going to pronounce their names correctly. Ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead from the left to the right. Over there.
It's better now.
Yeah.
I can hear myself.
All right.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this forum. My name is Karel Kucera, and I'm Managing Director of Continental Tyres Thailand. Very happy to be here.
Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ingrid Sagorz. I am representing the company Kistler. I am a product manager for the business unit Traffic Solutions. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jorn Stech. I operate a small automotive consultancy called Shiftgate Consulting after spending 30 years in the auto industry with 4 different manufacturers.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Suroj Sangsnit. I'm the president of the Electrical Vehicle Association of Thailand. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Patipan Kalvibool. I'm a CTO of Huawei Digital Power Thailand. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Yossapong. Today I represent the Mobility and Vehicle Technology Research Center from King Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Well, first of all, we're going to do this in 2 different parts because we have 2 hours. The first part is every single panelist here prepared a 10-minute mini keynote speech for you. So we will hear 6 different topics, 6 different speakers. And then for the second part, we are going to have a panel discussion and discuss many different topics that will all tie into our main topic. So I will invite the first speaker to the stage, the president of the Electric Vehicle Association, Mr. Sangsnit.
Good afternoon again, everyone. First, let me introduce myself. Now, let me introduce my association. So, actually, our association was founded in November 2015, and our goal is to promote the usage of the electrical vehicle in Thailand and actually any kind of pollution reduction vehicle, and also to improve the energy efficiency in transportation segment. Okay, and we have now over nearly 300 members and 273 now for the corporate members. And as you can see here, all our members are from OEM, our brand actually, I would say, and also the part maker, charging infrastructure, and also the professor from university and private sector. And here is our team. We have Dr. Yossapong as one of our honor president. Okay. And our main association, we divide into 5 segments actually. One is academic and human development. Divided into 2 working groups. We call it working group 1, focusing on the conference and the seminar. Our objective of the association to educate all the Thai people to know more about the electrical vehicle. Okay. And the working group 2, training education. We also have cooperation with a school, technical school, university, to cooperate with them on how we have a seminar, we exchange the technology to the student. Okay. And the second one will be the industry and business development. Okay, divided into 2 parts. One is the policy, the standard, the industrial transformation, which something they have to deal with the government, the policy that the government came out and maybe not suitable, so we provide them with more technical information for them to reconsider or helping them to form a more appropriate policy. Okay. And also helping the Thai supply chain to be able to transform from the iCHE to the manufacture of EV parts to support the industry of the local EV manufacturer in the future. The working number 4 is the overseas investment, because our association is coordinating with also ASEAN Association. So many companies who would like interested in coming to Thailand or to learn more about the Thai market, they always come and contact us. So we provide them with the information and also maybe some business matching with our members. Okay. And the work number 4, the third one will be the infrastructure development, divided 2 parts. The work number 5 is charging system. So we are forming the charging consortium with nearly 20 service provider, charging provider, because right now we have a little bit over 5,000 DC charger, public DC charger, and there are so many applications that you have to use. So we are trying to form the consortium so that we can optimize the use, so that we can have some maybe fewer applications to find the charging station, nearest charging station to you. Okay. And also to form the standard on the safety of the charging system. Okay. The work number 6 is the battery swapping. We are now one of the possible way to make easier life in the EV is to have the possible of battery swapping. Okay. Now of course the 4-wheel vehicle will be more difficult. In China they already have battery swapping, but in Thailand it's still not possible. So we are trying to start with the motorcycle because it's easier to be able to swap battery. Okay. And the 4th part will be the corporate communication and public relation. So actually, this is one of our things that we focus on. That's why we are able to support the overseas investment. So we have the statistics, we have the amount of car available, how many models we have in Thailand at the moment, how many OEM brands, and what will be the number of charging stations. We have this information most updated in our website. Okay. And the last part will be the back office, of course, and we also coordinate with the GIZ project. It's the organization support from Germany to help to make the world greener. Yes. And as a picture here, we have also helping the school to convert the normal iCHE motorcycle to electric vehicle. We have done it for 3 times already. The first time we start only to convert the motorcycle iCHE to EV. The second one, the third one, we are more focusing on the innovation to make the conversion smarter, to make the EV that we produce here in Thailand will be more smarter. Okay. Okay. Oops. Can I go back? Okay. We also incorporating with ASEAN EV Association, also including Korea. And as we are here today for the road safety, so this is the picture of the future, that we have to have the car can talk to the car, can talk to the environment, and the V2N, the vertical to network, the vertical to home, vertical to grid, that we have to focus on in order to make the support the ADAS level 5, that the car can drive by itself. And how do we make the car drive by itself to be safe? Okay. This is many people already know this, I think. ADAS level 0 all the way to level 5. Currently, we are still at the level 2. Okay, so you can drive the car with cruise control in the level 1. The level 2, we have the adaptive cruise control, that we can slow down with the car in front of you slower than your set speed. Okay, and maybe level 3, we can even overtake the car that's slower. Things like that. All the way to level 5, the car driving by itself, which is the level 5 is actually not far from the future. In China, we have already experimenting the robo-taxi, the taxi that drive by itself in the public road. Okay, but still in experimental. So if you call the taxi robo-taxi, you still have the driver sitting in the car, but actually the driver is not driving. But you have to have the steering wheel, the hand still have to hand on the steering wheel, otherwise the car will not move. Okay, and you have to keep your eyes open. You close your eye, there was a warning system that, hey, please kindly pay attention to driving. And for the EV car, many people still think that it's not safe. Okay, I want to introduce you to every EV car has to pass the UNR 100 and pass all kinds of testing. Okay, the vibration, deep it inside the water, burn it, crash it. Okay, you have to pass up to a certain level of standard. Okay, and the next step is that because the battery, we have a class, then they will go on 5 and the cathode and anode touch each other. Okay, so every EV car must pass the UNR 94, which is the class from the front, and the UNR 95 classing from the side. So actually, for me, I have been using the EV for 3 years already. I feel very comfortable with it. Okay, without looking at the cost saving and the pollution that is safe. Okay, so finish. Okay, to introduce myself and my association, and as we are focusing on the statistic information, so you would like to have the information, the number of car registered, the number of car sale, the number of charging station, things like that, you can always check it out on our website. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suroj Sangsnit. Thank you so much. The next speaker is the head of Mobility and Vehicle Technology Research Center, Associate Professor, Dr. Yossapong Laoonual.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm glad to be talking about what we are doing, and also to share some information about electric vehicle in Thailand. So just to tell you guys a little bit about our research center we call MOVE, right, which obviously stands for Mobility and Vehicle Technology Research Center. So we aim to support on the technology and innovation through our university, and we support the industry, especially local Thai industry here in Thailand. So our mission is to try to develop the what we call next generation automotive technology, which is, as we call it, I mean, this morning section 2 is about connected autonomous sharing and electric vehicle. And we are helping to transfer some of technology to the industry for the commercial use. And also we conduct a lot of research in our university, and we provide some of the laboratory at our university. So this is our expertise. So we are working on two main focus. First is to develop about the electric vehicle. We have, well, basically our research center in the university, so we have a lot of professors who are working on different areas. So our research center try to indicate all the experts in the university, and as you can see, there are many topics that we are working on. from the vehicle testing and evaluation. We're working on the connected autonomous vehicle. We're working on the batteries and safeties and fire hazard of battery. And also on the policy side, we are focusing on decarbonizing in transport. So we are looking at how we support Thailand to achieve carbon neutrality, what technology they should do, and also including the our problem of the air quality too. So this is what we can do at our research center. And so basically we have the service, which is from the research and development, from the human resource development, doing some training. We have some laboratories, I will show you on the right, and we can do consultancy work. So this is three main research group in our technical research group in our research center. So we have the one we call Move Fast, which is basically working on the future of the automotive structure. So we're helping the companies to decide safe on the body and structure of the vehicle. So we can do a simulation test on the crash test. Right. So as Kun Suroj mentioned about the R94, 95, we can, before you actually catch the vehicle, we can do the simulation on that. We also have what we call MoveBase. So it stands for the Battery and Energy Storage Technology Laboratory. So we have some facility that we can test the battery, up to 300 kilowatt, 1,000 volt, and 300 amp. So basically we have a chamber that we can control the temperature from -50 to up to 85. So we can test all the battery packs. We can do overcharging, over dischargings, and over temperature, and that's one of the facility. And the third one is we are working on Move CAV. So basically we're working on the connected and autonomous vehicle. We're working on the different type of autonomous vehicle. We just have finished, or almost finished, one of the project. We are developed the autonomous electric bus running in around Ayutthaya, which is about level 3, which is quite successful so far. We're about closing that project too. Yeah, so that is what we can do at the research center. Okay, just to share you some of the information about electric vehicle in Thailand. So this is what the number of vehicle registration in Thailand. Quite interesting, right? We have almost 45 million vehicles in Thailand, and almost half, well, not half, but almost half, 22 million would be motorcycle, right? About 12 million would be car, and 7 million is a pickup truck. And for the truck would be around 1.2 millions. We have some small number of the bus and quite a number of tractor and agricultural vehicle too, right? So and still number of the vehicles still growing, yeah. However, if you look at in terms of to separate what is a powertrain we have, right? So on the left-hand side, you can see that this is accumulate or the vehicle stock. We classify as the number of the ICE, hybrid, and plug-in hybrid, and BEV, right? So as we are focusing here today for electric vehicle or the hybrid, we can see that we have some quite, we can see some color on the green. We're not, not a majority, but still we have some number of battery EV, right, in Thailand now. And on the right-hand side is a number of the new legislation for every year. As you can see that still, this is comparing, all type of vehicle, passenger vehicle, motorcycle. Of course, during last year, in 2023, we have about 100 new battery we register. It's about 80,000 is a passenger vehicle, but just about 20,000. But if you compare the whole legislation, like it's about 3 million, still not a lot. People seem to be growing fast. In my opinion, still slow, as I would say. But if you compare in half year, from last year and this year, you can see that the new register is decreasing. Well, that's obviously because of the issue of the economics that we are facing at the moment. But you can see that the number of the BEV is still, not decreasing. Only the ICE is decreasing, right? In some countries, developed countries, we have seen the peak of the ICE. Probably we'll see this year that whether, the peak is the number of ICE is not increasing anymore, and it's growing on the battery EVs or the hybrid one, right? Okay, and just to give you a little bit more information, so if we're focusing on the battery, we have about 29 brand, almost actually maybe 60 model, and they have openings and new models almost every month now today. The price is vary from less than 300,000 baht to up to 8 million baht, right? So if you look on the right hand side here, the number, if you look at the capability of the batteries and also the EV range, you can see that in the past people worry about driving range, but today you can see that it can drive from 200 up to almost 700 kilometers. So in my opinion, we don't need to be worried too much anymore. But of course, still the price is expensive when you have a bigger battery. And also the charging time is also one of the concerns, right? So, but you can see that when you have a bigger battery capacity, the power of DC seems to be increasing too. So that means if you have bigger battery, you need a power to be filled into a vehicle must be fast, but must be large too. Okay, and I think I like to show this one that you can see that the power of the charging seems to be at the moment most of the charging station maybe around 100 kilowatt, right? But in the future, I think not too long. I should not say future, but as you can see on the right hand side here, I just visit on Shenzhen, and we can see that the charging station they're talking about for supercharging 400 kilowatt, and they can charge within about 10 minutes. You can go 400 kilometers. So I think in the future, during the highway, I would say that this kind of power charging will be available more in Thailand. So that I think what this highway have to be prepared, on the power charging that will be coming. And then this probably would be my last, some concern. I think people would start talking about EV, and now they'll be talking about, the issue of the battery five. So I think Jorn will be talking a bit more on this, but I just want to touch upon on this issue a little bit that, of course, there's some concern, and I think Kun Suroj mentioned that in Thailand we are working on, battery standard, R100. But of course, the accident could be happen, and accident could cause to many damage, not only the battery EV, but of course all the type of vehicle. But the way we handle this kind of EV, which is a bigger battery, you need to understand how we handle this one. Just to show that there's a case, of course, but we have. I think there's something that we need to learn, and we have to working on. And I think will be on the also on the motorway. I think they should have people who are people who are the first responder. They should understand how we handle this kind of situation. Right, anyway, so I think that's it for me, just to give introduction about my research center and also what's happening in Thailand. Thank you very much. Yep.
Thank you, Dr. Yossapong Laoonual. I genuinely did not realize we have pretty much 60 electric vehicle models here in Thailand. That's amazing. New one on the road almost every day. All right, so the next presenter is the founder and principal consultant of Shiftgate Consulting LLC and a good friend of mine, Mr. Jorn Stech.
I was told that I have 3 challenges this afternoon. Number 1, keep an audience awake on a Friday afternoon after lunch. That's number 1. Number 2, I have to do this in less than 10 minutes, otherwise my coordinator will take me outside and push me into the klong. And number 3, I have to convince you that fire is not as big a risk on electric vehicles as you might think, and it can be handled quite safely if handled properly. So those are my 3 challenges. So I have to admit, I am not an engineer. I'm not a firefighter. I don't work for highway services. I'm just a sales and marketing person. So why bring a sales and marketing person up onto a stage to talk about fire in electric vehicles? Well, there's a specific reason for that. In sales and marketing, it's our job to take the word no out of a sales transaction. We look to try to remove every reason why a customer will not buy our product, get rid of the no, and they buy your product. 5 years ago, I was on the executive management team with Volvo Cars in the Americas. I was responsible for Latin America and for Canada, and we were trying to increase the sales of our plug-in hybrids very quickly, from 5% to 20% in 1 year. And I put a big team together and we looked at every possible reason why people will not buy an electric car. And one of the reasons on the list was fire. People are a little bit afraid about fire with electric vehicles. Just raise your hand if you've seen dramatic video on Facebook or Instagram or somewhere on television with an electric vehicle fire. How many normal internal combustion fires do you see on the internet? Anyone? Probably not many. You know why? Because they're boring. Because they happen so often that you would fill the internet with fires about internal combustion vehicles. It's more interesting and exciting to talk about EVs. I love numbers. I'm a sales and marketing person. I still love numbers. How often do these fires actually happen? So in the United States, the data was collected by the National Transportation Safety Board, and they found that for every 100,000 vehicles sold, only 25 were electric vehicles. And in case you can't see it because the number is so small, I'm going to go point it to you. It's hiding, it's so low, the number. The number is much bigger when you get to the internal combustion engines, and then you ask yourself, why is it so high for the hybrid vehicles? Internal combustion vehicles, one of the reasons is, of course, accidents. It's also a little bit the age of vehicles, right? Because they're multiplying, dividing by the number of cars sold, and internal combustion vehicles tend to be older than electric vehicles, which are relatively new on the market. So, but the plug-in hybrids are a special case. They're almost twice as much, really, as internal combustion vehicles. And one of the reasons, of course, is the complexity. You have two drivetrains. You have a gasoline or diesel motor, plus you have an electric drivetrain. So there's a lot of complexity. A lot of things can fail in the vehicle. Number two, you have heat. And heat is the biggest enemy of the electric vehicle battery. So I want to talk about thermal runaway, because thermal runaway is what makes the electric vehicle battery fire so dramatic on television and in videos, and it makes them so interesting. Thermal runaway can be caused by a number of different things. Maybe the battery was built incorrectly with flaws. Maybe there is moisture in the battery that got into the battery somehow. Maybe the materials in the battery are breaking down slowly for some reason, probably heat. And number four, an accident where the battery is rapidly moved and you have damage on the inside of the battery. Well, once you have different materials of the battery starting to mix together, they start to cause more heat. And as they cause more heat, it causes some of the materials to gasify, turn into gas, and it pressurizes inside of the battery. And as all of this pressure is building up, at some point the heat might cause a spontaneous spark or a spontaneous ignition of the materials, and it causes a fire. So what do you do to stop this? Well, there are a couple of different trains of thought, right? There's the concept of putting out the fire. You know, for hundreds of years, you see a fire that should not be there, you throw water on it automatically because fire is bad, unless you're cooking. Electric vehicle fires, you have to make a choice, a smart choice. You know, you can let it burn, or you can put it out. Because of the heat, the intense heat, you want to cool the fire. That's what causes the thing to burn more and more and more, is the intense heat. It's gasifying the materials in the battery, and it makes its own fire. It just keeps making its own heat. generating its own oxygen. That's why foam does not work. Emergency foam on the fire does not work. Those blankets, they don't work because it makes its own oxygen. So you have to cool the fire and drown the fire with water to try to reduce that chemical reaction inside of the battery. Well, that's important if you're in a building. Probably everybody saw the recent Mercedes-Benz problem in South Korea, which was quite dramatic. So if you're in a building, to avoid structural damage, you probably need to use water to extinguish it as fast as possible. If you're out on the highway, there is no structure, there's nothing around, you can actually consider just letting it burn out, because you'll use up all of the materials. If there are no buildings around, no cars, no people, sometimes it's better just let it burn out. 90 minutes, if you try to extinguish with water, you're talking about 10,000, even 40,000 liters of water just to contain the fire. It requires a lot of decision making and preparation by the fire departments. So before a fire, they need to learn, they need to train their people, they need to train how to handle not only fire, but how to handle a high voltage situation. You know, you all know if you put a hose onto a high voltage source, water is quite conductive. So you have to do something potentially to disconnect the conductivity of the high voltage battery. So you have to learn, number one, how do you even approach an electric vehicle? How do you make the decision what to do when you go to a fire scene? During a fire, of course, the firefighters are trained, they get there, they understand, is it in a building, is it away from a building? They decide to put the fire out, they decide maybe let it burn. And then after the fire, you also have to take some steps. You take the car away, you put it at a storage yard, but you have to put it away from everything else for 10 days. Because for 10 days, the materials in the battery still are somewhat unstable and they could potentially start a fire again. So there are different precautions you have to take. I took one example from one of my former employers. I worked for Mercedes-Benz early in my career. This is an example of a page from Mercedes-Benz's emergency response internet page, where they basically show where all of the different components of the battery system and the high voltage are located inside of the vehicle. And on the right side, you can see that Mercedes-Benz also identifies where exactly you can disconnect the battery at the scene of an accident, right? So that the firefighters can quickly go on their phone or on a tablet or on a computer. They go to the Mercedes-Benz page, they see it's a GLC, and they know exactly what to do in that case for the fire. And so my recommendation is, if it's something that doesn't exist yet, my biggest recommendation in Thailand is, for the 60 vehicles that are here, the models on the market, would be to compile nationally, and then for each of the fire departments, the ability to look up that information on the scene of a fire. This would be the best amount of readiness that can be prepared for the fire departments. So again, I'm sales and marketing. I think I kept everyone awake. I'm just at 10 minutes, and I hope that I sold you on saying yes to electric vehicles in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jorn Stech. Our next presenter, she is the product manager for Kistler Instrumente, and this is her first time in Thailand. Please welcome Miss Ingrid Sagorz.
Thank you very much. I also have 3 missions today. The first 2 are the same as my speaker before, John. The first one, to keep you entertained. The second one, to keep the time. And the third one would be to inform you into why weigh-in-motion technologies are crucial for road safety. The automotive industry is undergoing a significant transformation, with electric vehicles becoming increasingly present in our roads. Unlike traditional vehicles, electric vehicles tend to be heavier, mainly due to their substantial weight of their battery packs and their electric powertrains, so including the inverters, the cooling systems, and electric motors. In average, battery electric vehicles are 15 to 30% heavier than conventional vehicles. If we talk about hydrogen fuel cell trucks, for example, which are becoming increasingly popular for long-haul applications, their battery packs might be smaller than for the BEVs, but that makes them slightly lighter than the BEVs, but they are still heavier than the diesel trucks, in example, because they have components such as the hydrogen tanks and the fuel cell. So in average, hydrogen vehicles are 10 to 20% heavier than conventional vehicles as well. This increasing vehicle weight brings several challenges, particularly in ensuring road safety and maintaining infrastructure sustainability. Today, I would like to highlight the vital role that weigh-in-motion systems play in this context. In the context of road safety, excessive vehicle weight is dangerous. On a global scale, especially overloaded heavy goods vehicles are a persistent issue, since the increased risk of accidents because they require longer braking distances to stop. They are harder to control due to their shifted center of gravity and altered load distribution, and that makes them more prone to tip over. Excessive weight also increases the pressure on tires, potentially leading to tire blowouts, which can cause severe accidents. Heavier vehicles also mean more fuel consumption and more energy consumption, contributing to higher greenhouse gas emissions and higher operational costs. Also, excessive weight damages the vehicles themselves, leading them to more frequent repairs that are necessary. And heavy vehicles cause exponential damage to road surfaces, leading to potholes and cracks. This all increases maintenance costs and causes traffic disruptions. Actually, the weight of the vehicles contributes to the power of 4 to the damage of the pavement. To put it in perspective, an exemplified 3-axle truck with 30 tons causes as much damage in the pavement as 7,500 cars, even more. And even though the share of electric vehicles in the heavy goods vehicle classes is still low today, with growing traffic, their market presence will be increased in the upcoming years. And because of their increased weight, their payload is actually minimized, so they are more prone to overloading. Overloading vehicles is a dangerous practice that increases the energy consumption of batteries and minimizes the range of the vehicles. So those vehicles might need to stop involuntarily, making them unpredictable and dangerous. Close monitoring of overloads will prove very beneficial in the future, and finding ways to mitigate these overloads will contribute to sustainability and safer transport. This is where weigh-in-motion systems come into play. Weigh-in-motion sensors can be embedded directly into road weights to capture the axle loads and the gross vehicle weights as the vehicles drive over the sensors, without requiring the vehicles to stop, and hence without causing disruptions to the normal traffic flow. Weigh-in-motion technologies are the ones to combat truck overloading. Non-compliant vehicles can be flagged in real time for inspection or for regulatory enforcement actions, ensuring that only the roadworthy vehicles are on the road. In most countries, authorities use weigh-in-motion systems for a pre-screening of all trucks that approach a control area. Based on the data provided by the weigh-in-motion system, officers can make qualified decisions on which truck to inspect in more detail. Only those trucks with potential violations are stopped, and drivers of compliant trucks can continue their journey without interruption, making the weight controls much more efficient. And more countries are looking into direct weight enforcement. This means using the weight data provided by the weigh-in-motion system to automatically issue tickets to weight violators. The advantage is that all passing vehicles are checked and potentially enforced. This leads to a higher probability for violators to be detected and will result in a strong reduction of the overloaded vehicles in our road networks. Weigh-in-Motion also provides real-time data for highway engineering. It enables sustainable infrastructure management, design, and protection. Engineers need this weight data to calculate the remaining lifetimes of bridges and pavement accurately. And especially with calculative deficient bridges, actual traffic load data helps to reduce the safety margins that are included in standard load models and therefore get a more realistic result of remaining lifetimes. With more and more accurate predictions of road deterioration, Weigh-in-Motion enables predictive maintenance, where activities can be scheduled based on actual road usage and can therefore eliminate unnecessary road repairs and their associated costs and environmental impact. In Weigh-in-Motion applications, vehicles pass over the sensors at speeds of 100 kilometers per hour or even more, generating very fast force impacts, and these sensors can be exposed to loads of several tons within a matter of just milliseconds. Here is where the piezoelectric quartz technology has unrivaled advantages due to its high sensitivity, wide measuring range, and fast response. This technology is not only highly accurate, but also incredibly durable. Kistler is the leading provider of quartz piezoelectric measurement technology and has a comprehensive portfolio in Weigh-in-Motion solutions with the key traffic systems and the Lineas sensors. The quartz Weigh-in-Motion sensors were invented by Kistler over 30 years ago, so Kistler's experience in Weigh-in-Motion technology is extensive. Over 80,000 Lineas sensors have already been deployed in more than 50 countries. The Lineas sensors are very compact in design. They are smaller than other technologies, so they can be easily embedded in little depths in road pavements with minimal disruption to the traffic. And this year, Kistler proudly launched its latest development, Key Traffic Digital, the most advanced Weigh-in-Motion system to date with the revolutionary Lineas digital sensors. This new system represents a significant leap forward in accuracy, modularity, and scalability. Key Traffic Digital was awarded with the unique OML certification for the accuracy class F5, ensuring an accuracy of plus-minus 2.5% of the gross vehicle weight at speeds up to 130 kilometers per hour. As the world's most accurate Weigh-in-Motion system, Key Traffic Digital detects the highest number of enforceable overloaded vehicles. And this is critical for maintaining safe load limits, particularly for EVs, which, as we mentioned earlier, tend to be heavier than conventional vehicles. Key Traffic Digital acts as a platform which enables advanced features. One example is the interlane driving functionality, where you can measure vehicles accurately even if they switch lanes. And another valuable feature is the automated tire screening, which identifies flat tires and tire types, so single, dual tires. And of course, for the flat tire detection, this is very important because tire blowouts endanger road safety. The Lineas digital sensors will generate more data than any other Weigh-in-Motion sensor in the market. And as we embrace the digital age, data will become the backbone of intelligent decision-making. Key Traffic Digital, with its advanced sensor technologies and also data analytics, is really integral to the digital transformation of transportation infrastructure. It will allow authorities to dynamically reroute or efficiently fine too heavy vehicles, thereby enhancing our road safety. I want to finish off my speech by inviting transportation authorities, governments, and infrastructure developers to consider integrating Key Traffic Digital into their road safety and infrastructure projects. By doing so, we can pave the way for a safer, more efficient, and sustainable transportation future, prepared for the increasing presence of electric vehicles. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Ingrid Sagorz. Our next speaker is the Managing Director of the Continental Tyres Thailand. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Karel Kucera.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Alex, great job with the pronunciations. Even though you said we will not introduce ourselves, so we should introduce ourselves. So thank you very much for the introduction. Yes, Alex was absolutely right. My name is Karel Kucera. I'm a managing director of Continental Tyres Thailand. Very happy to be here. And today I am going to speak what we as a tire industry are facing as the challenges with the EV mobilities and what we are doing to face those challenges. First, I will start with the question, who knows the Continental Tires from you? Great job, great job. I am positively surprised. And for those who do not know the Continental Tires, we have prepared some short video to give you the introductions who we are.
Since 1871, we've been building tires. Small ones, thin ones, fast ones, big ones. But no matter what kind of tire we make, we strive to build the safest possible. Because we believe with our products, we build more. Something you can't see. But more importantly, something everyone can feel. The feeling of certainty, the reliability that gives you the freedom to focus on what matters most. Your family, your business, and whoever counts on you. That's why we never stand still, constantly improving. That's why our tires need to circle the world 5,000 times each year to be good enough for your everyday life. And day by day, we reinvent the wheel because we think beyond tires and beyond today. Because the responsibility for our world is up to all of us. Together, we work as one team, across departments and across borders, inspired every day to make your mobility safer and more sustainable. Continental.
Yes, so short introductions about who we are, what we are doing. And I believe I can say we are the experts in the tire industry, because you've seen that we are here in the market since 1871. So we have a more than 150 years history of developing and manufacturing tires. Why tires are so important for all of us? It's very simple. The mobility is a part of our daily lives. Each of you is traveling every day to your office, to visit your friends, to visit the families. So always the mobility is a part of your day. Yeah? You are always looking for the performance of your mobility, of your safety of your mobility. And when we are speaking about the mobility, there are always 4 factors which are influencing your safety on the road. Definitely number 1 are the road conditions, are the weather conditions, whether the roads is in proper stage, whether there is a rainy situation or the dry roads. Second, very important aspect, definitely the car. Yeah, what kind of a car do you drive? New car, old car, what kind of a safety systems your car has. The third, the most important or very important, is a driver. Yeah? How good the driver is, how he's able to predict, how he's able to react. But the most important part on the safety and the performance is the tires, because there is nothing closer to the road than the tire. Yeah? Tire is the only part of the car which connecting your car to the road, and the contact areas of the tire with the road is like one iPhone. Yeah? So you always need to have on your mind when you are driving. You depend on the 4 iPhones. That's why it's always very important. Whatever car you are driving, you are always choosing the proper and the right tires. How this fits to our topic? Yeah, we are speaking about the EV vehicles, EV challenges. I think that each of you heard about the Vision 3030, which the Thailand government has announced some time ago, mentioning that by 2030, 30% of all cars will be produced locally, will be electrics. That's why you see lots of efforts here in Thailand to support, to sell the EV vehicles, to produce the EV vehicles locally. There is lots of tax subsidies. There is lots of support on the import duties for the EV car manufacturers to really boost this curve up. And already today, we already heard and saw how many cars are being registered in the Thailand. Last year, more than 10% of the new cars which has been sold in the Thailand was more than 10% was already EV vehicles, EV cars. Yeah, so you see that the Thailand is getting very strong drive in these directions. What do we do or why we are believing or why we are saying that the Continental is the relevant manufacturer, relevant contributor for the EV market? Today, Continental is supplying 10 the most and the world biggest car EV manufacturers on the world. We are supplying the tires to the manufacturers like a Tesla, like a Zeekr, like a BID, BMW, and others. So we are having lots of good experience on the EV business. Why these car manufacturers are choosing the Continental is mainly because of the low rolling resistance and the quiet rolling noise. Regarding the challenges that EV cars are facing versus the combustion engines, because from the outside it can be seen that the combustion engine or the EV car is the same like a combustion engine. Yes, they look the same, but they have a completely different characteristics. The first thing is that still the EV cars are having the limited reach. The mileage that you are able to get per charge is still lower than you would get with the combustion engine. Second topic, the electric engine is a much more quiet. Yeah? Electric engine doesn't produce so much sound or so much noise as the combustion engine. And the last but not least, the cars are much more heavy. As has been already mentioned by Ingrid, the EV cars are roughly 30% more heavier than the combustion engine. And secondly, the electric engine, by its characteristics, are having much more torque. And the last, which is not mentioned in this presentation, is that usually the EV cars do not have the spare tire. So how we as a tire industry are coping with these 4 challenges. Yeah? Rolling resistance. So we are optimizing the tires to optimize or to optimize the rolling resistance to provide a higher mileage for the EV cars. And to provide the extended mileage per charge. Second, very important when you are choosing the tire for the EV car is a noise. So you always need to think that the tire needs to have these quieter characteristics because your car is a very quiet. And the third is the challenge is mileage. Yeah? The car is more heavier, so that means that the normal tire wears much more faster. So the tire are usually are having the higher load index, and also are able to work under the conditions of the higher torque. There are 2 more technologies which we are offering as I would say the pioneers in these segments. Is a Conti-Seal and the Conti-Silent. As I was mentioning, the EV cars do not have the spare tire. So we are offering the Conti-Seal technology, which is a special sealant inside of the tire. And if you are running over nail and having the puncture, you are not losing the air. Yeah? So that the tire can run even though has the nail inside. And the second technology which we are offering in these tires for the EV cars is called Conti-Silent. It's a special foam which is connected to the inside of the tire, and this special foam is absorbing the noise for you to have the comfortable ride. So here I was speaking about the products, but also we are offering the solutions, not only the products. So for the Thailand, above this 7-year warranty period for the manufacturing defects, we are offering here only in Thailand also so-called total confidence plan, which means that for 369 days we are making the guarantee for any damages that that can happen to the tires during the drive, whether it's your cause or somebody else's cause. And within the 360 days from buying the tires, if we are having this issue, we are replacing the tire for free. So that was my contribution from the tire perspective and the tire industry. I hope that I was able to convince you that the tire is the most important part of the car, that you will always look, and your families will look not only about the price of the tires, but they will also look about the performance, the safety. The safety is very important for us. You know that Thailand has one of the highest road accidents on the roads in the whole world. And we would like to support any kind of initiatives which are helping to reduce the road accidents on the Thailand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Karel Kucera. All right, our last but not least speaker is the CTO of Huawei Digital Power Thailand. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Patipan Kalvibool.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry. My presentation here is all about the EV charging network, challenge, trends, and solutions. Okay, but first I would like to introduce ourselves. I'm from Huawei, and basically we are the leader of the ICT technologies. And recently we have moved or jumped into the energy business, and we call ourselves digital power department. The reason is obviously because of the trend of the world that would like to move, or we call it energy transformation, from burning timber, coal, oil, gas, that kind of burning that generate or have the carbon emission. We have to remove that things and to use the cleaner energy. And without the technologies, we would not achieve what we want, and that is the carbon neutrality. It will not achieve without the technologies. So when we see this, that's why Huawei jumped into this business, and we would like to contribute to the carbon neutrality. So this is some brief introduction about our company, and actually in the digital power of Huawei, we have a lot of business that related to the clean energy. And one of them is the EV infrastructure, as EV infrastructure. So let's talk about the trend of the EV. This chart shows us the sales number of the car, of the EV, as well as the charger. On the left-hand side here, we can see that this is the number of the EV sold recently, and also the expectation for the very next year. You can see that it's going exponentially up. So it creates another demand, which is the EV charging infrastructure. So this thing actually we foresee is at a chicken and egg problem. People would not buy an EV if the infrastructure is not ready. In the same time, the EV infrastructure developer would not do the investment if the number of the EVs is not big enough. So these two things normally should be developed together. And we foresee that it will going more and more. And the chart here on the right-hand side, I would like to emphasize is the DC charging station is very important, and it will be have higher demand in the future. Okay, and another challenge, another trend is as we see the new EV models available in the market is moving very forward. We have new model every year, and from the marketing, we see that the newer model will have the ability to have faster charging rate. because of the technology that we have, which is the semiconductor, that right now we are moving to silicon carbide or gallium nitride. This thing will enable the abilities of the EV to be able to absorb more power. And at the same time, the battery is going up, high C-rate battery. It's also enable the EV to have ability to have a fast charge. And this is the information from last year. The number of EV that is supporting ultra-fast charging is already more than 100 models. When we talk about ultra-fast charge, the number is approximately more than 250 kilowatt power, or let's say it has the ability to fully charge from 0% SOC of battery to 100% of the battery within less than 20 minutes. Some EV even able to charge faster than that, but let's say we're starting at this number as ultra-fast charge. Within 20 minutes, fully charged. So what is the pain point from user like us? The first one, of course, the failure rate of the charging. We park in the charging station, approximately only 75% of the time, the charger will be available for us. And the second problem is approximately 85% of the time, we will be successfully be able to charge at first attempt. So this is the difficulty of the user like us to have difficulty to use the EV infrastructure. And the second one is, of course, slow charging time. So the slow charging time is not for us to wait for our EV to charge, but in some time already happened in Thailand. At some point of time that we have a long holidays and a lot of EV on the road, and because of the charging time, it also we have to wait for the queue for very long, many hours. This is another problem, and it's really serious. And it also will make many people hold the decision to own an EV. So this is another very challenging problem. And the last one is about not so serious, but also something that people would love to solve, which is the noise during we are charging. We wait in EV and we want to wait, and the noise is very loud, or the gun or the dispenser is really heavy. It's sometimes difficult for us to use it. And also for the CPO or the charging point operator, for the operator who want to operate the EV charging station, they also have some difficulties. The first one is the O&M, because the old technology is most likely have a lot of failure rate and also need a lot of time to do the maintenance, and the utilization rate and everything. All of this is the challenging for the CPO or the charging point operator. So we, Huawei, has think about this. Before that, I would like to share some cases in China. This is the problem happened in China. The utilization rate is pretty low, and because of some subsidy happened in China, actually it makes the charging happen in the location is not so good, and eventually ends up nobody want to use it. And the chart here on the right-hand side is pretty important. We can see that actually the utilization rate of the EV charging station is very, very high for the fast charger or fast charging station. For the pretty low charging station, no one use it, because we charge at home. No one want to use it. So this is already happened in China. And with all of this, Huawei has the solution to solve pretty all of that challenge, and also look into the future. So we provide the better experience. We solve the noise and the weight of the dispenser. We also have a long life qualities of the products. So in 10 years, the O&M cost is pretty low. And more important thing is about the solution that we change from the standalone to be power matrix sharing, which will solve the infrastructure problem. because we do not have to have the standalone one by one just for one car, but we make it as an infrastructure, just one charging modules, and we have many, many dispensers that can communicate with the car, with the EV, and the EV can communicate and ask the charging modules how much power the EV has capabilities. So the EV charging modules will send the proper amount of power to that EV. So this is better for the investment, and it solves the infrastructure problem. Okay, and solve the maintenance time. Actually, this is all videos, but I'm sorry, I cannot play the video. And my time is running out. Let's see some cases. When I say ultra-fast charging of our solution, we are talking about 1 second, 1 kilometer, which means within 5 minutes of charging time, we have 300 kilometers. This is the experience of refilling gasoline already. And this is the future. We would like to let you know that this already happened here, and we foresee that, let's say in China, I shared the one last case in China. In Shenzhen, there's already a direction that would like to have Shenzhen to be ultra-fast charging city. And this will happen within this year, and we will install more than 50,000 units of the EV charging stations to support the ultra-flashing. Also, my time is up, and thank you. Let's talk later if you have any interesting about the EV charging infrastructure. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, so let's talk about a few things here. And I think the first question I wanted to ask you is that, you know, as I mentioned, I went through this electric car revolution in America when I bought my car in 2012. And now, as I moved to Thailand, I am witnessing exactly the same thing, which is exciting for the second time. But I think Thailand is in a huge advantage here, because Thailand can essentially learn on the lessons of North America, Europe, and China, and implement things that worked and pass on things that didn't work. So what do you think the lessons that we can learn in each of your sort of industry and niche based on what we've seen happen around the world, so Thailand can actually move through this electrification much faster? For example, I would say that one of the challenges that I've seen we still having now in the US is that even my last year in the United States, a couple of years ago, I lived in an apartment complex, and it wasn't a cheap apartment complex. So obviously the developers put some money into it, and I had trouble searching for one where I would be able to charge my car overnight. Because if you don't have a dedicated charger to charge overnight, your ownership of an electric car is going to be difficult. Is there something we can do here in Thailand to maybe, you know, prevent that from happening and actually encourage the developers and maybe local governments to make sure that everybody has a charger when they want one?
Actually, this is...
You're good.
Okay. This is... let me repeat understanding about the question is you would like to ask some ideas about how can we implement or prevent the problem that the charger is not enough, right, for the city. And obviously this is in China, for example, we have a lot of subsidies because China control the power to have some policy make it happen easily. So there's subsidy for the EV, and in the same time subsidy for the EV charging network. And what I shared earlier is about some problem also happened because actually there are many developer catch these opportunities and also doesn't make a good products and charging station happen in China, and eventually no people use it. So this is also some problem happen already, and I believe it also something that make Thai policy maker to think about it. I'm not a Thai policy maker, so we only suggest them to be careful on these topics. Yeah.
Go ahead.
For Thailand, I think we have about a little bit over 5,000 DC charger in public. Maybe, and the car is about 140,000. So basically, it may be enough. You talk about the ratio about the one charger per how many car. But the problem is the area, the geographic location is not really make the EV user, a driver, comfortable. For example, if you want to go over to Chiang Mai, so it's a little bit easy to plan, but if you go in during the period of long holiday, then you may face difficulty of the long waiting line. So I think we have to spread out. The 5,000 is mainly in the big city. So it's suitable for the public transportation like taxi, things like this, but not many taxi at the moment, a few thousand, but still not many. But for the normal user, every day you leave home with 100% charge. And the other part that the Thai government should support to make your question fulfill is many people living in the condominium. It's still difficult how to get the charging installation in the condominium. That's what I think.
Maybe I can add. I'd be proud to say that I installed the first 80 charging station in Thailand maybe 6-7 years ago when I'm still running the EV association. The issue about the apartment obviously is either you have more people in the condominiums or apartment who own more EVs, and they are at some point they would be agree to install the charging in the apartment. That's a challenge because at the moment, as you can see that we still have few percent of the EV owner. But if you look at, I didn't show that as Kun Suroj mentioned, we have I think a lot of charging station, 3,000 charging station, and a lot of them is in the department store and also the gas station. Majority is in gas station. And also a lot of them is in department store. So Thai people like to go to department store, in my opinion. So and with if you are the EV user, at some point you see that you probably would not charge every day. I think nowadays I charge maybe every 2 weeks now. I mean, it depends on how long you drive. Anyway, so I think at the moment it will be challenging. People have to change their behavior, the way they are using the EV. If they don't have, not able to install the charging at home. So most of the people who are buying the EV, they will be able to install it. But I have seen some people who have not had that capability, but they still buy EV. But they have to change their behavior. And also another thing is that the government can do and supporting is to encourage the workplace, to install. We have seen a lot of buildings, There are also, like even my university, we have about 5, 6, 7 charger, and I think we have saw a lot of workplace install that, and I think the government said that the government should be changed to EV, and I think I have seen like Bangkok metropolitans talking about how to install the charger too. So I would say it's not convenient. Not 100% of people can use it at the moment, but I think this EV charging business is growing, and probably will be, as you said, it's a pain point, and there will be more solutions coming. Yeah.
Go ahead.
If I can just also make one comment or questions or different perspective, I think just to set up the charger, it's a quite easy thing. Yeah, we can assign to the private investors who will set up who will build the charging station. For me, it's just a question whether we have enough cables and the capacities in the Bangkok, for example, where you have a huge number of the people, and whether there is already the infrastructure of the electricity to be able to provide such a level of the electricity that the future EV cars will need. Yeah? Whether we have a black and white, enough cables in the Bangkok, enough big cables. Yeah?
I think also the answer to that is also most people charge at night while their lights are off, so that kind of balances each other out. Anybody else wanted to add anything to it?
Yeah, I would like to add something. I would like to say
in terms of technology-wise, about this kind of pain point, for example, the infrastructure problem in the crowded area, actually we know the way out, because we have made an oasis solution to have a charging station ready with the, let's say, solar panels, energy storage system. This is as a combined solution, will make it not so be a burden to the grid, electrical grid infrastructure. And this is already happened in China actually. And we foresee that these kind of things gonna happen more and more to reduce the problem of fast charging to be the burden of the grid.
Yeah, and, that leads me into my next question, because like I said, as I went through the pains of, charging infrastructure in the US, and you can say the same thing for Europe, nobody took a responsibility of being in charge of that. Not the government, not the private sector, though I would, obviously give kudos to Tesla because they have built their own infrastructure, but nobody else has done it. And so what you see now in the United States is long lines for people to wait, so they can wait to charge their cars at the DC fast chargers because they don't have one at home or they're on a holiday. So I guess, this is something that Thailand can avoid if we kind of learn the lessons that they haven't before, which leads me to the next question. Whose responsibility is this to, one, educate and support this new idea of electric cars? Is it the government? Should the government, for example, mandate that each building by a certain year would, if it's an apartment building, require each parking spot has a charging station? Is it the responsibilities of Teslas and BMWs and BYDs of the world to make sure that it is implemented and everybody's educated in it? Who should be in charge? Because in America, nobody was in charge, and now people are waiting in line for 3 hours to charge their cars, and that's not helping us. So who should be in charge?
From my perspective, I think it's a private sector. It's a business opportunity. Same like with the gas stations. Is government mandating how many gas stations needs to be in the certain cities? Yeah. So I think it's a great business opportunities. Yeah. Thailand is a country where I think also the private sector can sell the electricity. So I would be for that the private sector would go for it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would have thought the same thing, right? Because essentially you get a free gas station, right, to charge electric cars, and now you own two businesses. One, you're a landlord. Two, you're selling energy. But I'm with you on that. Yes.
Well, if you said that in the US there's a long queue, right, for charging. In Thailand we have that issue too, but only during the holiday and when you go to on the motorways at certain periods of time, not always. So that, I think if you have that utilization, like something like that, I think the charging operator would be happy. At the moment, it's about how the charging operator would make a profit, but even enough to cover the cost. So it's a chicken and egg, but somehow in Thailand we have quite a number of charging stations. I didn't show the results, but I have data from EVAT, from the charging consortium. My team have been analyzed that in Thailand, in the motorway, M1, the main motorway, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? If you understand that. So we have about the public charging station. We have, if I'm not wrong, it's about every 30 kilometer, less than 30 kilometers, we have one charging station in Thailand on the main motorway at the moment. I think it's quite a lot, in my opinion. And I think and Huawei already present there will be more fast charging, and I'm not worried about the if we have enough electricity or cable, because actually we have oversupply of the electricity in Thailand. I think about 1.5 times. People complaining, and that's because we install a lot of renewable energies, and that's one of the issues that we have quite a high capacity. But the issue is about the land. The land is more expensive. The challenge we have at the moment is to install the charging station, and the landlord, normally the business model is about sharing, is a sharing revenues. and the charging price, they cannot charge a lot. So the people who actually install, like landlord, did not get much benefit at the moment. So that's a challenge, a different approach, and I think what happening in Thailand.
Yeah, but the government can still get involved in many other things. And, Ingrid touched on, way in motion. And I guess that may be a question even for your industries. How much of a government involvement would you want in participating in this? Because this is essentially, supports the electric vehicle development, and also at the same time is a responsibility of the government. Would you say that that's something that you would have to, your industry would have to work, or your company specifically would have to work with the government of Thailand or wherever you do business?
Yeah, definitely. It's a joint effort, right? And you need also the support of the government and their involvement for such big projects. I mean, we talked about the charging infrastructure a lot for the EVs, but at the same time, I think it's important to talk about road infrastructure, because we need to also prepare the roads for the future. And with the increasing presence of the electric vehicles, with their increased weight, our roads will be exposed to much more damage. So there is where the industry with Wave Motion Technologies, for example, can help. And of course, you need the support and involvement of the government, and that they are informed and acknowledge the advantages that that technology brings. So it's the job also from the industry to bring the know-how, to promote it, but at the same time of the government to support and adopt.
So what if we cross something that you said and you said together and say, okay, well, obviously people want to make money on, let's say, if it's an apartment complex or even a shopping mall that has the charging station, the infrastructure, but they're happy to collect the fees for the electricity, but they're not happy to invest a lot of money up front on the, upgrading the grid, upgrading the electric panels, and installing the chargers. Is this where the government should get involved and, let's say, offer, business loans with maybe no interest rates, or maybe a prolonged number of years how the business can pay them back, so these businesses can install chargers? Do you think this is something how a government can get involved, John?
I think whenever you have a major transition like this, especially with, as you've mentioned before, a chicken and egg situation. What comes first, the electric car or the charger? The charging infrastructure is very important, and that's not something that the customer controls. That's something that either private industry or the government can have some sort of a role. My opinion has always been that when you make a jump into a new technology, something that the government is moving the industry towards in order to meet, reduced carbon goals, then the government has to step in and give some assistance to make that industry shift, to make that infrastructure shift, supporting that business. You cannot put that burden somehow on the customer and make the life inconvenient for the driver, for the owner of the car, because then they will stay away from the car. So something has to be done even at the government level, like low interest loans, perhaps some sort of grants that do not have to be paid back in order to break the cycle of the chicken and the egg.
Is this something that the Electric Vehicle Association of Thailand is maybe working with the government to provide this assistance for the infrastructure?
Actually, we working with them on the safety concern, things like this, and I totally agree with all of you that the government should at least give the guideline or some regulation and including some subsidy together. I think that will be the good start.
Agreed.
But in the past, everybody was saying that it's a chicken and egg, but there's one company, Electric Energy Absolute, start already install the DC charging station over 400 area. At that time, the EV car is less than 1,000. And at the end, and eventually, all these chargers are full of dust because they cannot start their charging station because the regulation is not clear. So I think the government should come up with the regulation, the safety regulation, the regulation to control it, to make sure it goes in the right direction, and also the subsidy. I don't think the loan will be necessary because many business service providers already have this in their plan. And to answer your question about the electricity, as Kun mentioned, in Thailand, the electric power is more than we need. But what the electric authority is afraid of is at certain period of time, like starting at 10 o'clock, the electric rate will be cheaper from nearly half, okay, from TOU meter. Okay. Therefore, everybody will start to charge their car at 10 o'clock. And that's where the peak is going up. Make the whole Bangkok maybe shut down.
Yeah.
That's what they are afraid of, actually.
Let me throw a crazy idea here. Do you think that government we should have our government to participate in maybe, let's say if BMW imports or Tesla imports their electric cars into the country, they would get more, tax breaks, let's say, if they also contribute to infrastructure? Because I just can't imagine us saying, yes, it's a job of a customer or a government or someone else, but these are the companies that are essentially putting out the product, right? These are the cars. Shouldn't they participate in installing? By the way, if a BMW comes in and installs a bunch of electric chargers in my apartment complex, it is essentially advertisement for the electric BMWs to all of our tenants paying a lot of rent every month, saying, hey, this is the spot for your future electric BMW. So shouldn't we at least encourage them to sell their electric cars this way?
Actually, our associate has tried, like the EV 3.0, everybody import in has to produce back 1 time, 1.5 time. And before they announced the EV 3.5, that you have to produce back 2 times or 3 times. We were proposing already that instead of having to produce 2 or 3 times, why don't we make it reproducing 1 or 1.5, 1.5 times as the EV 3.0, but some certain part that they have to invest on the infrastructure, because from the lesson learned from the EV 3.0, you can see the sales going up exponential, but the infrastructure is flat. So it's not going the same ratio. But it turned out to be that they didn't change.
Fair enough, fair enough. All right, let me switch. I hate to use a gas car analogy. Let's switch gears a little bit here. But let's talk about, we're talking about Thailand specifically, but a lot of you represent companies that are global companies, right? So the question is, and probably it's a lot for you guys on that end, do you have to adjust your product to each country that you do business with? For example, if you're selling tires, you probably sell different tires in a country where there's Autobahn rather than tires to the area where there's traffic and no one's going over 5 kilometers an hour. What are the unique sort of challenges that you have in general, and specifically here in Thailand, selling, whether way in motion or tires, and also, maybe John talking about fires, also the way to put out fires. This is very different types of fire departments between different countries. What are those challenges?
Yes, we are facing lots of those different challenges because you have different cars on the roads. Yeah, so every car has a different specifics, different torque, different weights. Yeah, so you always need to make sure that the tires are fitted to the car and to the end consumer, to the driving style of the end consumer. Yeah, as we are having the tires now with the EV vehicles, which are optimized for the EV vehicle performance, then of course, once it comes to the different regional specifics, of course, the tires also need to cope with the different conditions, different road conditions that we are facing, for example, in the South America or in the Europe. Yeah, so there is a usually different robustness among the tires.
Ingrid, maybe just about even the sensors that you have to build into different types of roads. Is it different for Thailand?
Yeah, definitely. There are some geographic dependencies on the demands for the products as well. And as we see in Thailand, a country that is really futuristic and on the road to investing into EV infrastructure, but also road infrastructure as well, we see the trend towards higher investments. And for us, for Kistler as a company that provides the way in motion systems, for example, the requirements on the sensor level are sometimes the road quality doesn't meet the requirements for the sensors to be installed. So I think it's important to integrate the sensing technologies already prematurely, so we can really know when the pavement is going to be damaged, for example, because of overloaded vehicles, etc. At the same time, there are higher requirements on the durability of the product, so they really have to be strong to withstand the environmental conditions of that country, of that region, and to hold in the road for many years until the roads are repaved. So those are also demands on the durability. And of course, on the accuracy side, if we see applications such as the road towards automatization and direct enforcement, so direct penalization of overloaded vehicles, the accuracy demands are also much higher and depend on the local legislation. So there are norms, institutions, and the government also deciding on what the requirements for the sensors are to be able to meet the application in the country.
You bring up a good point. I didn't even think about it. The road that's at 50 degrees Celsius and the road that's at minus 30, probably you have to have a different types of even materials to make stuff out of.
Completely. The temperature dependence is also a very important factor. Depends on the local weather.
Yeah, awesome. John, you had something?
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, heat is the biggest enemy of your battery in your electric car. And Thailand is a hot country. I remember last December, a friend of mine told me, it's winter, it will get cooler, and it will not be so hot in December. And no, it was still very hot. And it requires, quite obviously, that automobile development, the teams who develop the cars and who test, they have to make sure that the cooling systems, number one, in the car for the battery is sufficient to keep the battery cool while you're driving and especially while you're charging. And that also goes to the charging network, that the charging systems, the cables get extremely hot when you're pushing 450 kilowatt of power into a battery. The cables have to be cooled as well, liquid cooled. So heat is a big problem, and every year it's getting hotter, and every year it stays hotter for a longer period of time. And for a country like Thailand, there definitely has to be protocols in place for the charging stations and for the vehicles themselves to be adapted to the market.
Yeah, and it is interesting you mentioned heat, is because I just recently realized that for many years, Tesla users around the world would bring a cold, wet towel with them to put on the handle of a charger. True story, guys. This is, you can look it up, and the speed of charging would increase dramatically, and to the point where Tesla had to issue, well, they don't do press releases, a tweet that please don't do that. You can burn your cars down. So temperatures are definitely a problem, and touch a little bit, touch on the fires, John. And anybody feel free to jump in. This is going to be a problem. This is going to continue to be a problem. Actually, near my house that I still have in Sacramento, the Tesla semi-truck, I don't know if you guys seen this on the news, burned down, and to the point where they had to close the highway. And I remember that highway. That's a pretty wide, big, important road leading out of Sacramento north to a Tesla factory, actually, that had to be shut down because of the fire. And the semi-truck, as you know, has probably one of the biggest batteries that we have right now on any market. And it burned down for a long, long time, closed, and of course the tons of smoke and stuff like that. This is going to continue to happen. I know, even though, like I said, you're right, it's 100 times less likely for an electric vehicle to burn than a gas car because of, all the gas, I'm going to assume. How can we prevent this here in Thailand? What kind of training program maybe we should implement or suggest that the government and fire departments implement to be able to take care of those fires? Anybody?
Well, I think preparation and education. Education is always the most critical part. Number one, if you have 60 models of electric vehicles in Thailand, there should be, if it doesn't exist, and I looked and I could not find it, a consolidated website where all of those 60 vehicles are listed in Thai with pictures like the Mercedes-Benz example that shows this is where you disconnect the battery, this is where you should put the water, not here, but here. It's education. And the more you're prepared before a fire happens, the less damage or the less danger there is for people and homes in that area.
By the way, I remember you said that, but my question was, and maybe it's a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Well, I'm a YouTuber, so I can ask stupid questions, right? If a car is on fire, in the connector on fire, how do you disconnect the connector from the electric source?
Well, not every accident results immediately in a fire. So in any accident where an electric vehicle is concerned, they should always disconnect the high voltage battery from the rest of the vehicle. Some vehicles are designed to blow that connection automatically when the airbags are deployed, but not all vehicles have that system on board. No, sometimes you cannot disconnect it. Sometimes you have to just try to extinguish the fire even if the battery is still connected. But if possible, and you have the information in your hand on an iPad or a phone, then you can make that decision on the spot.
And probably this is something that you can talk about, is that
Yes.
fires are also caused sometimes by the charging stations.
Yes. Before I jump into that, I would like to, it's not so good to share, but it's very important. First, because all these things that we are talking about, the EV or a charging network, all of these are advanced technologies and come very fast. And what cannot follow is the standards, knowledge, the education. And, you know, it's a little sad, but it's true that we do not yet have the solid standard for the EV or the charging station in Thailand. So once the problem happened, we try to solve it and create the standard that the charging has to have these. Right now we use the blanket or some sort to have to be prepared just in case. So as myself also am a part of the standard committee, the EIT, the Engineering Institute of Thailand. So we also try to develop a standard to set that, to prevent some kind of solution that not qualified to happen, to solve these kind of things at the very beginning. So this is very important.
Yeah. And let me throw this back to you guys over there. Tires, you know, there's charging stations, there's accidents, but also tires, right, can contribute to the fires. And so is this any different for electric cars? And what can we do to prevent that specific problem?
Tire on the fire? Not really. Never heard. Unless somebody's burning the tires.
On purpose, okay.
On purpose, yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry I could not answer a better question.
No? All right. Well, then something that you just mentioned about the standard of the chargers, like, I don't know if you guys know that, but in North America, it looks like we now have a standard which now comes from Tesla. And, you know, you can argue that on one hand it's a good thing because Tesla has pretty much the best and biggest now public charging network in the United States. On the other hand, you can argue that it's probably not great to have one manufacturer, one interested party in control of a standard for everybody. So again, I started this discussion with this, you know, we have a kind of a clean slate here in Thailand. We don't have to follow, you know, the mistakes that they've made over there and keep making in the United States. And I think this is maybe for, you know, you guys on this end, what standard would you like to be adopted in Thailand for fast charging? Are we going with Tesla? Are we going with CCS? Are we going with anything else? What do you think is best for, I would say, consumers?
It's actually we should not make it very specific, of course, to make any suppliers get the benefit, but something has to be taken into account in terms of safety, right? The procedure of the safety is very important, and the quality has to be measured and has to be measurable to be an indicator that all the suppliers can prove. And we actually work on this part with the parties that get involved in this. So I do not want to specifically say anything because it's too sensitive, but yeah, we try to make it neutral and focus on safety. Just safety first.
Clear enough. Sir?
To add a little bit in from the slide that you have made about the Mercedes-Benz, I took this picture immediately and I sent it to my team that we have to start to collect from all the models available in Thailand, and we should have this educated to the rescue team and things like this to start off with. Thank you.
As far as the charging standard, which charging standard would you like to see adopted in Thailand?
I think in Thailand we are following the UN standard. With the charger that import in from China or from doesn't matter from ABB or cement or things like this, we are following the UN standard. Before you install the charging station, the charger has to be tested by the electric authority first. Make sure you pass all the UN standard, then you can install. And after you install it, it has to be inspected by the electric authority before you can start using it. This is currently in Thailand.
Are you talking about the socket tie or?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the socket tie.
Okay.
Like America, this essentially North America is switching to Tesla.
Well, this have been discussed maybe like 5-6 years ago, and we say we open as long as it's in the standard, and the market will prove themselves who are leading. we found that at the moment the CCS2 is proven that to be more successful in the market. Even though we doesn't say what standards. That's what the government did 5 years ago. So, which at that time I don't agree, but I think it's good idea. It's a good decision. Because I would poll CCS2 at that time, but they said we should not speak, but then should let the market grow. So I think, as you can see the result today, every car putting the CCS2, even the Japanese car.
My other hat is the executive vice president of MG in Thailand. So, as you know, in China, in Europe, we have CCS truck. In Japan, we have Chadamo. In China, we have GB. But why all the Chinese cars in Thailand come with CCS? Because MG was the first one to import in the EV car and say in Thailand in 2019. And they were asking me which socket we should be using in Thailand. So that time we have many PHEV and from Europe. So majority is CCS. So I told them, okay, come with CCS. And after MG started with CCS, now all other Chinese brands come with CCS. But in China, it's still GB standard.
Excellent. So I'm going to ask a last question, but I want everybody to answer. And I know it's not on my list, but I thought we would just dream a little. I just want to ask you, and I know some of you don't necessarily live here in Thailand, but where would you like to see the electric vehicle industry in Thailand, let's say in the next 3 to 5 years? The number of cars, the charging infrastructure, the technology. Do you see self-driving being part of it yet? Safety, containing issues like fires and so forth. Where would you like to see this country be in 3 to 5 years? Any answer of any type of dream?
I would like to see that every single car or 99% of cars in Bangkok are EV by 2030. That would be beautiful because the city would be so quiet, it would be without any dust, we would have less accidents, and I would like also see that all motorbikers on these e-bikes are wearing the helmets. That would be my dream.
Yeah, wow. And we won't have to wear masks for pollutions because of that. Okay, wow. You dream hard. I love it. Okay, all right. Ingrid, go ahead.
Yeah, I also support EV adoption for Thailand, definitely. And another very important aspect or what would be our dream from Kistler's side, I know, is also that the infrastructure, especially the road infrastructure development, goes in the direction of preparing the roads for this increasing presence of the electric vehicles. Because as the EVs are heavier, they're going to damage our roads and pavements here in Thailand much more. And that's why we need to equip the roads with the best tools we have available with technology, go in the road with digitalization, and as Kistler, we're here to help that process.
That's excellent. John, dreams in 5 years.
So, I dream really big.
All right.
I would love to see a much bigger ecosystem where you have the EV of the owner, the home, including solar and including battery storage for energy in the home. So, and this is now for a freestanding house. This is not for apartment buildings. You know, Alex has lived a long time in California, and in California you have these blackouts or brownouts where the electricity is out for some time. And when you have this ecosystem at the home in a country, a beautiful country like Thailand with so much sunshine, you can easily generate your own electricity at home. You store the electricity in your battery. You can then store it in your car, and if you need it in the evening, you can pull it back out of your car or out of the battery from your home. So I see that also contributing quite heavily to a reduction in the, you know, the less clean methodologies of generating electricity. I think Thailand still burns quite a bit of carbon-intensive materials. What is it, 20% or less is green at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. So this could also take you a long way to greener energy and cleaner air that we breathe.
John, it's true in California we do have annual, pretty much once a year, blackouts, but you got to give it a break. It's still a developing country, California, okay? Give it a break. All right, please. Your dream, sir, 3 to 5 years, where do you want to see this electric car revolution end up?
As an EVAT president, okay, I would like to see more and more EV car, and I think that not only having the EV car on the street, if everybody having the same goal to be carbon neutrality, then because everybody now asking that you said EV car is clean, but you burn fossil to get the electricity. But I think that if everybody are going the same direction, not only as an EV car, okay, everybody go the same direction, then energy from the electricity will be clean, but not only expect from the EV car producer or EV car association, okay. And many people also ask me that EV car, what makes you so sure that EV is the future vehicle? I always say no, I don't know also, but at least today the EV car is if you want to reduce the temperature, reduced by 1.5 degree in 2030. EV is a technology you can touch and start reducing already today.
All right. You dream responsibly. I like that.
Yes.
All right, sir?
Yes, before the dream, I would like to share the real first. First thing, I have to admit, right now I'm not driving EV, which is some personal reason, is fine. But adding from the information we heard earlier, that you know that right now the ICE car actually could be considered cleaner than the EV, because the EV right now use the electricity from the grid, and the grid is not so clean. Actually, we have 0.4 XX carbon emission factor, which is the electricity from the grid is not so clean, basically. So my dream is first to make the whole electricity from the grid clean, more clean, and second, the price of the EV is at the the price that affordable to more people, and that time I believe the EV would be just like a phone. Everyone now own a phone. Back 10 years ago, the phone is luxury things, right? But now the phone becomes, cannot
family. Let's face it, family.
Yeah, the EV will be the same like that. This is my dream.
All right. Last but not least, doctor.
Wow. Before I answer, can I ask anyone in this room driving battery EVs, please? Can you raise your hand? Can you raise your hand? Anyone here ใครขับรถ BEV บ้างครับ Can you raise your hand? Okay. Oh, well. Hopefully when you have this organize this again, come back in next 5 years, I would see more hand raised.
60 models, I've heard.
Huh? Well. Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I have 2 cars in my home. It's all BEV. Secondly, my homes, I install solar roof and battery, right? So I think before we talking, telling anyone to do anything, I think we should act first, and you will see the pain. I come across a lot of these kind of things before. So I would say that it's not easy road, because I can see that when you're asking people why they're not making decision. So I think this is our job for the EVAT, and I still doing this more and more to encourage people. But I think people already mentioned that we would like to see that. But another thing I'd like to see is not just the EV adoption, but I would like to see that in Thailand we are moving into sustainable, EV manufacturing as a hub in ASEAN. So I think this is something that we have been doing well for the automotive manufacturing. During past 50 years, we are one of the country who export a lot of car into other countries. So hopefully we have more battery, we have more EV manufacturing, and of course we're gonna have more battery manufacturing in Thailand. So hopefully in next 5 years we'll see that a lot of, half of the BEV in Thailand will be produced here in Thailand. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you to all of our panelists for, one more thing. Okay, go ahead.
To him, you have to listen to him, because in 2015, when he was the founder of the EVAT, at that time we have less than 200 cars, EV car running in Thailand. Why he registered the EV association when we have only 200 cars?
Yeah, I remember those days in the U.S. It's always fun in the beginning, but you have to fight a lot of different obstacles.
No, we don't fight. We encourage. And
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
We encourage people.
All right. On that note, thank you to all of our panelists, and thank you to our audience for sticking around for a couple of hours. I think that was very informative.
Foremost, there's a big thanks to our moderator who keeps the event very engaging. Now, please, this is the present of the token appreciation for Mr. Alex Guberman, creator and the host of the social media channel E4 Electric. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Suroj Sangsnit, President of the Electric Vehicle Association of Thailand. Dr. Yossapong Laoonual, Head of Mobility and Vehicle Technology Research Center, King Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi. Okay, moving on to the next panelist, Mr. Jorn, Stech, Principal from Shiftgate Consulting. It would be the turn of Miss Ingrid Sagorz, Product Manager from Kistler Instrumente. And then followed by Mr. Karel Kucera, Managing Director from Continental Tyres. Mr. Patipan Kalvibool, Huawei, Digital Power Thailand. Okay, and may I ask all the panelists and the moderator to take the picture with the Deputy Director General, please.